Hey guys, it's Mel again. I have taken a few days off from coming on to the live talks. Got my cup of tea. Look, I just went on a impromptu walking date. Um, by the way, it is a handy tip, first time of meeting someone. And I had a really interesting conversation with this person. So I actually thought what I would do is come on live and, you can type in any comments at all, or you can ask questions while I'm having a chat to you guys. And I can actually see it as it's coming up because this is live. So I want to talk about relationships and how they've changed and have we actually made this more disposable? I mean, is dating now, because we have all these online apps and online sites and stuff like that, is it disposable like a mobile phone? This was the conversation that came up on my walking date. Okay, and it came up by the guy, which was really interesting. So we had we'd actually met, and we had met online. We've been talking for a couple of days, and turns out we literally live around the corner from each other, and decided, I said, I'm sorry, I want something. I didn't want, in regards to the meeting each other, I don't want to go straight into the whole full-on stuff. I've been really, really busy. But I said I really needed to go for a walk. I was going to kill someone today. And he was like, why don't we go for a walk? Fabulous. So as we're walking, he'd actually said that he'd gone off the app in which we'd met, which was called Happen, which is Happn. And it's not as known about as something like Tinder. Now, all of us know the name of Tinder. But he said he'd actually taken himself off the app. And I thought that was really interesting. Obviously, he did that after he met me. But apart from that, the funny thing was, I was curious to know, why did you take yourself off it? And I said, I hadn't actually used it for a long time. Now, with him, he was discussing one of his mates, and he was saying things like, now, with all the online world, you don't really get to meet someone, and I call it pump and dump. All right. So his mate was meeting all these girls, and he'd see them for about a month, and if they wanted it to go to the next level of meeting friends or whatever, he just that was it. He's pumped them and he's dumping them. Okay, not a nice terminology, but that is how some people are using the online world. And he said, there's just so many fish out in the sea now. And I laughed and I said, yeah, that's what I say. And now everybody's so accessible, because before, if you didn't know of someone through someone or meet someone when you're physically out face to face, you weren't going to find someone. But right now, all you do is you go online and you can meet thousands of people. Okay. And so getting a hookup or meeting someone is as simple as that for most people anyway, if they do their profile right. Now that's a whole nother video. So yeah, it's true. It is. It's pump and dump. So what he was saying was, he said, I don't know how many people are actually that we're talking to at the same time. So, and I said, what do you mean? He said, well, so his mate, for example, he's seeing this girl, but he's talking to other girls. And so he's lined up the next ones, gets rid of that one, and the next one's there. Or, he was saying, it's at the stage where, if he gets invited out by his mates, but he gets invited out by the girl, correct, Bernard, and the girl's like, why don't you come out with me and my mates? He'll go, nah, stuff it, I'm going out with my mates, because it's just so easy for him to get it whenever he wants it. And I laughed, and I thought it was really, really interesting. So this is a guy that was saying, I'm going off the app because, one, I don't know how many people are talking to at once, which I had a chuckle at, and then I had a very honest conversation about it and said, yes, sometimes that person that you're meeting up with will be having multiple conversations with multiple people. And two, that it is, seeming to come across as more disposable. So, that also came into the whole non-monogamous and monogamous conversations. So, like Bernard's saying here, it is a bit, you're not getting personal experience. That's correct. Yeah. You literally can be having 10 different conversations at the same time. And I'm telling you, you've got to be really good at doing this to make sure that you're saying the right thing to the right person, and that because the conversations can be so different. However, there's some people that I've met online and it is the same conversation with every single person I come across. And the reason why I know this is because I've come across a few of exactly the same faces. And these faces, I know who they are, and I'm like, oh, let's just see, we'll say yes again, you match up, and they ask the same questions and they go through the same conversation. I giggle because I'm like, wow, you must do this so often, you don't even remember who you're talking to. So how are you guys feeling in regards to online dating? It has changed so much, and you guys really need to think about this. If you are doing online dating, it is very, very possible that you are going to be seeing multiple people at exactly the same time, or you'll be talking to multiple people at the same time. How do you feel about that? Are you comfortable about that? If you are non-monogamous, are you bringing that up straight away? Are you putting that into the conversation? Because he was saying, he was literally saying to me, hey, this guy is seeing multiple girls. And I said, but is he telling the girls he's seeing other people? Now, for me, I've been non-monogamous for a few years now. However, everybody that I see, they know straight up, it is a conversation that I have with them that I'm non-monogamous, which means that, if I'm seeing you, it's been non-exclusive. And he thought people would have problems with it. I'm like, hell's no. Most guys are like, great. That's not a problem whatsoever. Now, when I'm ready to actually have a relationship and I find a person that, can stimulate me mentally, emotionally, physically, intellectually, then I may not see more than that person at a time. But if I'm not looking to settle down, so this is the thing, you've got different apps for different things. You've got different dating platforms for different things. So you're going to have, I basically said Tinder is more of a hookup site. You're going to have Happen, which is a little bit better than that. Scout, stay the hell away from Scout. That's like a nightmare, that one. You want to talk about pump and dump, this stuff is like on a whole nother level. You've got RSVP, which is a little bit more for dating. You've got eHarmony for those that really are looking for a partner to settle down with, and they're not looking for a wham bam, thank you ma'am. And these are just some of the platforms. You've got Oasis that's out there. Oh my God, there's so many. But what is actually happening is each platform is for something different. So the question you've got to ask yourself is, if you're on this particular platform, does it match to what you actually desire? All right. So if it is, you've got to articulate what do you want. So if you want to settle down, I'm suggesting you go on something more like RSVP or eHarmony. Okay. Yeah, and I'm talking about, so far I've covered the heterosexual ones, not the homosexual ones. So yeah, you've got Grindr. Grindr is the male gay version of Tinder, and there's also one, and I can't remember the name right now, but there is one for the girls. And you know what? Don't go on to something like Tinder thinking that you're going to meet the person, the partner of your dreams. It can happen, but that's not generally what you're going to get on those platforms. So if you are going on those platforms, but you're looking for something a little bit more, what you actually need to do is you need to get on the right one. And if you want to be non-monogamous and you're going to talk to various people at the same time, or you're going to sleep with various people at the same time, be upfront about it. Because quite frankly, if the person you're seeing doesn't like it, ciao, that's the way that you need to be, because then you're actually not being honest to yourself, you're not being honest to them. And I think there's really something in doing that. And he thought that most women would freak out, and that's completely not correct. Some women are not ready for relationships either. Yes, for the girls, if you are looking for an online app that is women for women, it is called Blender. So that's correct. So Grindr, which is Grindr for the guys, and Blender, blend with the R for the girls. So, there are, of course, I'm only talking about this many platforms. Trust me, there are some serious platforms out there. If you're looking for group stuff, swinging, BDSM, there are online platforms for that. I will go into that on another conversation. But, you know, guys, I'd really love it if you, you know, pop some notes down on, you know, what do you think about online dating? And do you think it has now become disposable like a mobile phone? If you want me to chat about any other topics, definitely pop the message below, okay? Because I will get to see all the messages that people are writing, including everything that Bernard's been writing. So thank you for that, and thanks for your feedback. And everybody, if you're not sure about those apps, you know, that information is below. But pop down any topic that you'd like me to talk about, and I will do another video tomorrow. Okay, hang on, but I'm quickly going to answer this question. So what do I think about the polygamy or polygamy, or however the hell you pronounce it, which is basically non-monogamy, and I'm all for it. For me, I was monogamous for about 20 years of my life, and in reflection, I sat there and, you know, I looked at, you know, one of my relationships, and my partner, I used to say he always put himself in a position to cheat or be, what is the word I'm thinking of? And yes, I can discuss. Sorry, I had to pause that for a second. My phone's full. So yeah, pretty much, yeah, I think you're right. You know what? I'm going to go into both of them tomorrow. I'm going to go into the topic on thank you, the word being tempted. So he was getting tempted a lot, but I made sure I never put myself in the position, and that is what made me question whether I believed in monogamy or non-monogamy. Okay, so I reckon we'll talk about that a lot more in depth tomorrow. Yes, I'm happy to, you know, air my dirty laundry, because if that means that it gets people to start thinking and talking about, you know, how they feel, we're going to do it. All right. So I'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.